and holy sacrifice. Praise the Lord. God will hold your right hand. Do you believe it? God will hold your right hand. Just stick out your hand and let him touch you. Just let him touch you. Can you feel his presence? Can you feel him getting hold of you? Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Just feel his touch. Just step into his presence and feel him. Experience him in his fullness. He will hold your right hand. Yes, and he will never let go. He will not. He's not a liar. He will not let you go. He will not leave you. Yes, Lord. Romans 12, verse 1 and 2. Therefore I urge you, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies a living and holy sacrifice, acceptable to God, which is your spiritual service of worship. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It does not say by the renewing of your heart, by the renewing of your mind. So that you may prove what the will of God is, that which is good and acceptable and perfect. The will of God, good, acceptable, and perfect. Do you trust him? Do you trust him that he will renew your mind? Do you trust him that he will lift you out of this religion strongholds and put you into a graceful place, set apart for his use only? What an adventure to follow him through that path. An adventure to just trust him. He says in his word, man cannot be trusted. But he also says, I am trustworthy. I am that I am. Deuteronomy 10 verse 12 and 13. Now Israel, what does the Lord your God require from you? But to fear the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways and love him. And to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and to keep the Lord's commandments and his statutes, which I am commanding you today for your good. It's all about him, but the blessings is all about you. That is his favor for his saints, his chosen ones. You are favored high above every and anybody in this world. It's your portion without you doing anything. 1 Samuel 12 verse 24. Only fear the Lord and serve him in truth with all your heart, for consider what great things he has done for you. Can you think of today? What did he do to you, with you and for you today? Count your blessings. 1 Chronicles 28 verse 9. As for you, my son Solomon, know the God of your father and serve him with a whole heart and a willing mind. Remember, first verse, renewing of the mind. Now serve him with your whole heart and with a willing mind. For the Lord searches all hearts and understands every intent of the thoughts. If you seek him, he will let you find him. But if you forsake him, he will reject you forever. Yeah, but it's a graceful God. He will never do. He said he will not. Yeah, he's a righteous God. I preached on Sunday night of his righteousness and his judgment. Those who follow him, his righteousness. Those who stand up against him, his judgment. He's a fair God. He cannot deny himself. Only fear the Lord and serve him in truth with all your heart, for consider what great things he has done for you. And you, Solomon, if you seek him, he will let you find him. If you forsake him, he will reject you forever. Deuteronomy 7 verse 9. Know therefore that the Lord your God, he is God, the faithful God, who keeps his covenant and his loving kindness to a thousandth generation of those who love him. You and your descendants. The word says, I have never and I will never see any of your descendants ever have lack or beg for bread. Never. Never. Where does it stop? Does it stop with you? So that your descendants may have the blessings? Know therefore that the Lord your God, he is God, the faithful God, who keeps his covenant and his loving kindness to a thousands of generation with those who love him and follow him. Romans 6 verse 17. But thanks be to God that though you were slaves of sin, you became obedient from the heart to that form of teaching to which you were committed. You became obedient. By becoming obedient, you also became willing to change. By being willing to change, you experience a renewing of your mind. And you will then experience a fullness in your heart of who he is. Everything is a process. You either step the process or you skip the process. By skipping the process, you're missing everything. By stepping step by step, following him no matter what, keeping steadfast on who he is, trusting and believing he is the God, he's your source, he's your life, you will experience everything of him. You and your descendants, including all and every blessing available from him. Joshua 24 verse 24, the people said to Joshua, we will serve the Lord our God and we will obey his voice. They said to Joshua. But when the guys were sent into the land of milk and honey, only Joshua and Caleb came back saying, yes, that is our portion, we go for it. The rest said, oh my goodness, we saw some giants. They are big. They are fearful. But they stay big. But Joshua and Caleb said, we know our God. He is much greater than anything, any giant in my life. He is much greater than any iniquity, any circumstance, any illness. He is the God of the universe, not just the God of the earth. The universe is vast, more than what we can comprehend. Daily, our scientists are still seeking through the universe, reaching no end. But God created everything in this universe. No beginning and no end. John 14 verse 15, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. John 15 verse 10, if you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. The right hand of God never dared to question him, never dared to reason it out, never came against anything that is the will of his Father. And his Father is God. Who's your Father? Do you do the will of your Father? Can you define who your Father is? Do you bear the fruit of who your Father is? We will serve the Lord our God and we will obey His voice. Proverbs 16 verse 3. I love Proverbs. Proverbs cuts to the bone. There's no two ways about it. If it's said, so it will be. Proverbs 16 verse 3. Commit your works to the Lord and your plans will be established. It will be established. There's no other way. There's no shortcut. There's no other way that your plans can make for you or turn away. If you commit to the works of the Lord, your plans will be established. And we experienced it at a pace now that is way too fast for us. Way too fast. This last few weeks we've been running with God non-stop. It seems that you just can't keep up. He's moving way quickly. Proverbs 2 verse 7 and 8. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity, guarding the path of justice. He preserves the way of His godly ones. You see, we are always in His mind. Everything He does, He keeps us in mind. What He does, He favors us. Always the blessing and favor comes to us with who He is. He performs, the favor is ours. He uplifts, we wear the crown. Not once have I experienced ever in my life that He has misled me. Not once. Not once. I can give you testimony after testimony after testimony of who He is, and we're walking this life, so we walk the talk, and we bear the fruit thereof. Is it easy? For sure not. For sure not. But He never said it would be easy. All He said is, just come in my rest, and I'll do it for you. By the times that I try to do it myself, that's the times when it's not easy to stick with Him. Because I step out of line. By stepping out of line, I'm missing. When I miss big. I lose big. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity, guarding the paths of justice, and He preserves the way of His godly ones. There's nothing else about it. Hebrews 11 verse 8. By faith, Abram, when he was called, obeyed by going out to a place which he was to receive for an inheritance. And he went out not knowing where he was going. Are you prepared to move like that? And now we've got a quietness. Can you feel the thickness in the air? Are we prepared to move when God says, now just step out of this place and walk out of the gate and go where I tell you? Are you prepared to move? Are you prepared to leave behind everybody and everything that is precious to you? By faith, Abraham, by faith. Isaiah 1 verse 19. If you consent and obey, you will eat the best of the land. As easy as that. If you consent and obey, you will eat the best of the land. You will experience the best of who He is. You will even experience the best of what is available in the world. If you consent and obey, you will eat of the land. Not eat of heaven, not eat spiritual. You will eat of the land. Matthew 6 verse 33. First seek his kingdom and his righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. It will be added. No question about it. It's a done deal. Jesus paid the price for it. It's a done deal. He's the right hand of God. Have you ever thought about God having you, getting hold of you with your right hand? He gave up his right hand for you and for me. It cost him his life so that God can get hold of our right hand. Getting to that just now. Proverbs 16 verse 7. When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. The lion and the lamb will lay together. When a man's ways please the Lord, he will make even his enemies to be at peace with him. Awesome. Because if you are at peace with your enemies, where's your problems? If you love your enemies, where's your enemies? They will disappear in the mist. And I will read it to you now. I'm going to read Isaiah 41. Make it your own portion. Isaiah 41. Make it your portion, and he will lift you up higher and higher and higher. From verse 9. Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, Thou art my servant, I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. First promise, I have chosen you, I will never leave you, I will never forsake you. You are mine. You are my chosen ones. You are the kings and priests in my kingdom. You are the sole inheritance. You are the ambassadors. You are my beloved ones. You are my bride. You are called my sons. What more do you want? Verse 10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen you. Yea, I will help you. I will uphold you with the right hand of my righteousness. He will uphold us with his right hand of righteousness. The favor is ours. The blessing is ours. The promises is ours. Everything that is his is ours. We are the sons in the house. When the prodigals move in, how dare we question God? Yeah, but now you favor them. My dear son, everything that is mine is already yours. Yeah, but you didn't slaughter the fatted calf for me. My dear son, everything is available to the greatest and uttermost portion for you. Those who know me not will come into my kingdom to be saved, to be fellow heirs of who you are. But as I am such a vast God and such a great God, there is always more than enough for everybody. He's a God of more than enough. Of more than enough. Verse 11, Behold, all they that were incensed against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. They shall be as nothing, and they that strive with thee shall perish. The God of judgment. Those who don't want to know him, he will judge. Those who follow him, he will bless. Your enemies will be as nothing, ashamed and confounded in front of you. He will lift you up a step higher. Again, a step higher. Verse 12, Thou shalt seek them and shall not find them, your enemies. Even them that contended with thee, they that war against thee, shall be as nothing, and as a thing of nothing, of naught. They will have no place, no stand, no uprightness in front of you, because your God will be in front of Though they seem like a giant, they are as nothing. When my God says this is how it's going to be, when He spoke, so it will be. Done deal. Verse 13, For I, the Lord thy God, will hold your right hand, saying unto you, Fear not, I will help you. Isaiah 41, verse 13. I, the Lord, your God, will hold your right hand. I will say to you, Fear not, I will help you. He will. When it is said, it is done. This is the written word of our God and Father. A written word that cannot and will not ever be changed. You cannot subtract from it, you cannot add to it. This is the word, and so it will be. That is His will. Isaiah 41 verse 14. Fear not, you small worm Jacob, you men of Israel. I will help you, says the Lord. I will be your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. He is who He is. It will never change. He was the same yesterday. He's the same today. He will be the same tomorrow. He will never change. He is your God. Isaiah 41 verse 15. Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. You shall thresh the mountains and beat them to smalls, and you shall make the hills as chaff. Every mountain in front of you, you will call it and say, move, and it will move. He will put in you endurance, steadfastness, discipline. He will put in you His love. And His love will and can conquer everything. That is who He is. That is the greatness of our God. Verse 16, You shall fan them, and the wind shall carry them away, and the whirlwind shall scatter them, and you shall rejoice in the Lord, and shall glory in the Holy One of Israel. The joy of the Lord is your strength. We've moved into a secret place tonight. I don't know if you have noticed. We've moved into a secret place where, as we sang the ones, we will sing, there's a one song that says, where darkness cannot find you, where the sun need not to shine, because you will move into the bright light of God Himself. A secret, a mystery, but it is God. You can trust Him. You can move into this place without knowing where you're going. Faith, Abram, faith. Step out and step in. A place where I'm your God and you're my son, where you're in my rest, where I'm doing and you are watching, though every blessing is your portion. A secret place, a mystery. Don't miss it. Don't miss the secret places we walk in. Isaiah 41 verse 17. When the poor and needy seek water and there is none, and their tongue fails for thirst, I, the Lord, will hear them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them. It's a promise. He will not. He will hear every word you say. If you ask in faith, it will be done. How do I ask in faith? I trust Him with all my heart. I accept Him for who He is, my God and my Father. Two different places to be. With God in the throne room, with my Father on my knees. The mystery of the secret place. And in this, Isaiah 41 verse 18, I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water and the dry land springs of water. Water is life. Water is the current flow of His love. And He will open up this fountain in your heart. You'll be drenched. You will overflow. And a world will see that you are a son of God. They will want what you have without knowing they made a choice. They will just step into this kingdom of the great God. Isn't that awesome? Because you need not to say anything, you need not to be anything, you need not to know anything. You must just stay in His rest, and He will do it, because He will do His will. His will is for everybody to get saved, to be healed, to live again, to have life in abundance, to experience the fullness of His promises, to stand out and above all things, to reign and to rule in authority this earth. He said it in Genesis, I will make man and let them reign and rule. The first book of the Bible. Yet today we struggle to keep our heads above water, drowning in our own flesh. Our own flesh. Isaiah 41 verse 19, and I'm finished. I will plant, listen closely, I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the shittah tree, the myrtle, and the oil tree. I will set in the desert the fir tree and the pine and the box tree together. Now we don't know what I've read. Isaiah 41 verse 20, and listen closely. That they may see and know and consider and understand together that the hand of the Lord has done this, and the Holy One of Israel has created it. The trees in the Word is His people. Are you a myrtle tree, a pine tree? Verse 19 said, I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the shittah, the myrtle, the oil. In the desert I will put the fir tree, the pine tree, the box tree, everything together. And the very next verse says that they, who are they? They are people. It's us. That they may see and consider and know and understand that the hand of the Lord has done this. That they may see that I, God, has favored them, has bestowed unto them my fullness of who I am. God will hold your right hand. If you can trust Him, you can move with Him. If you can move with Him, you will have faith. If you have faith, you will trust Him. By having faith, by trusting Him, you will renew your mind. Heart will be filled with the greatness of who He is, the power thereof. And the Holy Spirit will just guide you and lead you onto a path there where nothing can shake you. Steadfast on a firm foundation, on the rock of Jesus Christ. You will not be shaken by nothing. Never. What more do we want? What more do we want? If I can trust Him and believe in Him, it will be my portion. That is who He is. Amen. Any questions? Any answers? Do we trust Him? Do we believe Him? Then we walk in faith, and we will bear the fruit thereof. It will be visibly seen in your life. Does anybody want to say something? Are you sure? You're going to lose and snooze if you don't say anything? Have you experienced anything from the Lord this week? Has He taught you anything? Any miracles? You've got a miracle. You are the miracle. That is who He is. By the very fact that we are alive, it's a miracle. Moving in Him, having our being in Him, it's a miracle. So let us breathe Him in and out, and in and out. And we stay steadfast in the blood-filled, new-found family of God. Let us sing something before quietness gets hold of us.